Hi, Åsa.
Hello.
Hi, hello. First, I just want to say I'm so grateful for what you're doing, your work, and for the feathers. Yes, I so much I could bring up, so I'm a little bit unsure what to pick. But I think I choose to this mother and son theme that has been on because I have a lot of things going on in my life right now, and there are lots of turbulence in many areas, work, and I have a very depressed mother that's she's needing a lot of help and support from me. But my constant and big pain is worries for my son, and he's moved from home. He's 26, and I'm sort of waiting that the pain of his leaving home would leave me, but it doesn't.
No.
No. And I realized that there is something more than just the ordinary pain because I had several miscarriages before I got him. And also when he was born, he was a very healthy and strong child, but he got epilepsy. And after that, he had another diagnosis that he got rid of after a while. And I mean, he's now okay, and he got rid of his epilepsy as well. But there's been quite a journey during his childhood. So I understand that affects me.
Mm.
And during these years I've been meditating. I'm quite a lot in my head, and during the last years, I have more and more feelings have been coming up. So now I can sit and meditate and just tears falling down, and a lot of times I think of my son, and I wait and I think, oh my, now I've been sitting meditating several times, several years, and still I'm sad, and still I still worry. So I hope Fetterwork will help me resolve this. Of course, I'm still very much selfing, identifying with a person, a
Mm.
mother.
Mm.
So, and just one example, I listened to one of the first Fetter lessons and about this, that the difficulty to really listen to somebody. And I tried this with my son recently. And we had a meeting just the other day, and I I told myself before, now I should not speak. I should take no good advice here. It's so difficult, of course. Uh, and also, it's like that I'm so occupied with myself
Mm.
and what to do and what not to do. And perhaps no, I shouldn't say that. If I go that so it's almost difficult to
So
hear him.
much in your thought. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think of that example that you brought up, Pernilla, in some of the lessons about a mother that she had her son come home from school, and she just, instead of being so reactive, she just made space for his feelings to be there.
Yeah.
Mm. I felt I've been thinking about that, but
Mm.
it's like it's impossible. I will never be able to do that.
Oh,
Ah.
it I completely understand. It's about the part of you're still identifying so much with your thought. You
Mm.
still believe that your thoughts um are real, that
Yes.
your thoughts are actually useful, and
Yes.
that they have, a useful message for you to act on, that you can think of your son is going to come and visit, and then you think, I'm not going to react, I'm not going to say, I'm just going to listen, and then that is not going to happen. That is like you deciding that tomorrow it's Sunday.
Mm.
I decide that tomorrow it's Sunday, and tomorrow when you wake up it's Wednesday, obviously. So you're deciding on something that is outside of your reach. You cannot decide how to react or not to react. You cannot just, that is completely beyond any control. There's no agency anywhere to do that. So it's what I would recommend you to do, instead of being harsh on yourself that you can't control your mind and you can't control your thoughts, because nobody can. Instead of being harsh about that, then look into that delusion of you believing that you actually can. What is it in you that feels comfortable in the world if that is the case? You know it's not the case, but you keep telling yourself that it actually is.
Mm.
Uh, that's the worst thing, and I know you're going to say more about that in a second. The other thing I want to say, um, it's the part about motherhood and about you worrying about your son.
Mm.
There's something really really potent to look into about that, because when we become parents and we have our children, we experience a type of love that we have never experienced before. It's so unconditional. It's like it's undescribably unconditional. I spoke with my son yesterday, and he has a little daughter. She's 9 months old, and she's snotty at the moment. And they tried, with that suction thing, and she wouldn't want to have it. And Benny said, "Well, so the only thing I could do was just to suck it out myself." And it's exactly that. And then he goes, "It's so disgusting." And I go like, "Yep, being a parent is so disgusting." And yet he still look at that little snotty blob, and love her and would give up his life for her. We experience a love when we become parents that is unprecedented. We have never ever experienced anything like that. I remember when I had Ben, I had the distinct feeling that this was the purpose of my life, that he gave my life meaning. I didn't feel that I had any meaning in my life until I had him, and I was not aware that my life had no meaning until I had him. So that feeling of love that we have with our children is unprecedented. And we have this idea that when we're with them all the time, the love is present because we can see it and we can feel it and it's right here. Now he's not. So where's the love? I mean, when our children leave home, it's like being left by the person we love the most. And it's so painful, and there's nowhere where it's okay to talk about it. You know, if we could, we would force our children to live at home until they're 75. You know,
Mm.
uh, that is not a good idea to do, though. I'm not, I'm
Not
not,
advocating
not
that.
advocating that one. But it is that we're losing the biggest love of our life, and it's okay to mourn. It's okay to miss him. It's okay to mourn
Mm.
that loss. That part of your life is over.
Mm.
It
Yeah.
happened without you wanting it to happen, you
Mm.
know?
That's one part of it, and that's and then there's this other part. I think it comes from the traumas I've been through before his birth, and that is that he will, if he that he should die. I'm
Yes.
constantly afraid that
Yes.
he will die.
Because then you think that love would die with it.
Yeah, mhm, perhaps yes. Mm.
But right now, your son is not with you.
No, no,
And you feel
no,
the love. You feel the love. The love is not contingent of him being here right now.
no, no. I feel the love, and I'm also afraid that this uh, difficulty I have just to let him go emotionally. I'm not that kind of mother that's calling him constantly and watching over him like a hawk. No, I constrain myself not to do that. But
So you are, but you don't.
but I'm sure he's feeling it. It's
Yeah.
another feeling without words. We have
Yes.
a very strong bond,
Yeah.
and now he has since 3 years a girlfriend. He has also a very strong bond too. I'm grateful for that. but
But
but I can't stop worrying. I can't stop being afraid he will die. Uh, and I know I have no control over it whatsoever. I mean, maybe you heard it was this terror thing in Stockholm some years ago. A truck drove up the
I remember. Yeah.
yeah. Me and my husband were abroad at that time, and um, after it was we saw this on the TV. Oh, that's happening in Stockholm. It took a little while, and we got a phone call from our son. He was 5 minutes from this.
Terror attack. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I haven't been worrying and thinking about him at all.
Mm.
So I mean, it's obvious you have no control. You can't. You. So I also am trying to um, befriend with the thought. Okay, but let's think. If he dies, could I could I live in a body
Yeah.
that's in a world and in my body if he's not in the world?
Mm.
No, I think so. I must, and I can almost I could feel that. Oh, then my worry would go away. Oh, it was.
Mm.
I'm
Yeah.
so strong that I feel that it was and when other people, oh, I'd like to have a child. Oh, fabulous. I think just think you don't know what hell you're going through.
Yeah.
So, uh,
The worry is just a different, it's just love in a different container, you
okay.
know? Um, I'm curious to why you're so um invested in the worry to go away. Because if you just sit with the worry about him losing his life
Mm,
and know that this is just love in a different container. And that is what it stays at. There need to be more thoughts added to it for it to be exhausting.
mm. Yes, I think it is.
So if you stay with that, with the first worry, like we talked about before, it's that little nugget of hurt that we have. If you just stay with that and notice that another thought will come in, detach that thought, stay with the nugget. Just stay with that feeling of of loss if he's not here. Because what is really the problem is all the thoughts that are happening afterwards.
Mm,
It's
mm,
not the initial thing. Like you say, you can be in a world where he's not here. You can, so that is not the issue. It's all the added thoughts that come onto it afterwards.
mm, mm.
mean, that was such a really good point. They're really good points. Um, yeah, what you say about the thoughts being added to it. It's funny because I haven't quite put it together. I had a glimpse of talking to Aunt Helen last night with her paranoia about me,
Yeah,
joining the wrong crowd.
yeah.
Um, and it's like, so I have this 98-year-old great aunt who I'm very close with, and she's it's my family has a history of worry, like it's kind of built into the DNA. And I was telling her, do I out you as a
Yeah, you
as a
can out
Pokemon?
me. You can out
So
me.
I recently discovered that Parental here is a big fan of Pokemon Go. And there was this Pokemon Go community day thing that we went to in a park. It's like literally nobody talks to anybody else. It's just people looking at their phones walking around a park.
It's
And
it's a it's a great it's a great game for autists. We
Mm.
yeah, we're 1,000 people walking around in a park. None of us talk with one another, and we're having a great day for 3 hours. It's beautiful.
but I
And Todd
mentioned,
was there.
and I was there. And just also enjoying the the ice,
Nature.
the nature, the ice, the trees, the sky. It's all very lovely. I was the only one there who actually saw any of that because everybody else was glued to their phone, but it was really, really, really lovely. Um, but my point was that I mentioned this to my great aunt last night, and her immediate posture, way of looking at any of this stuff was from a point of, do you know who these people are? Is it
Are
dangerous?
you safe?
Are you safe? And I don't want to have to come bail you out. So the immediate inclination goes from me saying that I'm in a park that she knows, with a few people walking around who we're not talking to on their phones, immediately gets taken to the extreme of either me getting arrested somehow by being,
Being in a strip joint that is gonna be arrested with lots of drugs
right,
and
yeah, yeah, like I'm somehow in this seedy situation, or that these are people who she's like, do you know who these people are? Like everybody is in a terror. So, but it's coming from this place of love where she feels really protective. And I'm a 45-year-old man, but still it's that it comes from that place of, as you said, worry in the guise, or love in the
in a
container of
different
worry.
container. Yeah.
um and it's I did everything that I could to try to rest her mind that no, 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 there's no danger in this situation at all, absolutely fine. But you can still hear that hesitation because she's so worried that something is going to happen to me. um and I think it was just a really beautiful way to put that.
Mm.
um Really, I only told that story because I wanted to out you as a poke player. That was really the only reason.
I'm as autistic as can be.
um but but to your point that there really is no reason to have to get rid of that sense. However, if you did decide that it's something which is for some reason that you feel it's unbearable, then I like that you're going into sitting with, okay, well, what if he did die? What could I be in
Mm.
a body where he does? And then feeling that, and kind of playing that the thought experiment out to see what would really happen in that situation, and feel into it and recognize that it is absolutely doable. um but
So,
yeah, no, go ahead.
but
Yeah,
but but
please put
also
in.
also be aware of that it's got nothing to do with him.
Yeah,
You know, in your bubble of reality, it's about you not having control over anything. It's about your own death as well. It's
yeah,
about one day you are going to die too. We know you're going to die. We don't know when and we don't know how. Um, and that feeling of uncertainty and that feeling of threat, especially now when you started with the feather work and you're starting to dissolve a lot of things, it's very, very normal that the ego is, coming into the foreground about something. Oh, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to die. I'm going to all those big, big thoughts that we can have because we know that there's something there's something changing at the moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Yes, there's something more. I should try to explore that a little bit more, because there is and just what you said about it's about losing love as well, his love,
Yeah.
and perhaps love in my life altogether. I don't know, but that's really worth looking more into.
Yeah, I'm also thinking now when you say it, I'm also thinking if because of that special love that we have with our children, is it also a fear of when if he dies, you will have no more love in your life? That love of that caliber
Mm.
will not be in your life anymore.
Yes.
That's also interesting to look into
Mm.
because it when I had the experience with Ben that I had never ever felt love like that before. It also put my entire life in perspective that, you know, I hadn't been in situations or met people or surrounded myself with people that gave me that feeling of love or where I could feel that level of love.
Mm.
So if I would have lost him, it would have been a desert.
Mm.
I wouldn't have had any love. And obviously, that is not about the people around you, it's about
No.
self-love.
No.
Self-love. Yeah.
Yes, and I've started working a bit about other traumas from my childhood,
Yeah.
and loneliness is a big part.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. And it's easier to say that you worry about your son than looking into your own loneliness.
Yeah.
Because I once had a group where there was a woman, she was living in a commune, a collective, and she said that when she was living in that community, that collective, there were 30 people there, and she never ever felt so lonely. And that's when she realized loneliness, it's an internal thing. It's not about anything about the people that are around you. It's a tone, it's a feeling tone that is there all the time.
Mm.
And looking into that loneliness, it will take you back in history to you seeing. And then I also understand if you have had that feeling tone of loneliness your entire life, and then you finally get your son, and the loneliness go away and is, you know, replaced with this deep, deep, deep sense of love, then obviously losing him, you will lose the love and you will be straight back into loneliness again. Him leaving the nest, getting the girlfriend that we don't want to mention, um, you know, even that is kind of pushing you to the edge of that loneliness.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So it's very much about asking into, can I be in a body that feel that loneliness? And then what we always talk about, that you see that in a horizontal line, that, you know, your future, we're here now, in the past, that was where the loneliness happened. If you put it into a vertical line, so you can be with all of the experiences in your life at the same point now, with that loneliness, with the insight that you have in your life now, then you can actually heal.
And then if I could just say
Yeah.
one thing, going back to what you had said about the fact that you right now in your room you can't tell that your son is still alive or here or not, and yet you still feel the love for him.
Mm.
So the first thing I was going to ask is, when he was there, was all of that loneliness gone?
I didn't feel it in that way then. I wasn't aware of it. It's been a lot of worries tied to him all the time. Um, no, I didn't. I wasn't aware of it. No, I wasn't.
Yeah.
So you could have the love for him when he was there, and you can have the love for him even when he's not there. The loneliness seemed to not be there when he was there, but now all of a sudden this loneliness comes back. So it'd be curious to look into what it is that there's an idea that he is the key to you not feeling lonely.
Mm.
But is that really the case? If you can feel love with or without him present, then and it's love presumably, we think for him. Really, again, it comes down to that fact that, we have to feel that love ourselves. But if you can feel that love, whether he's in your vicinity or not, then that loneliness that seems to be mitigated by him being there, look into if there really is a connection between him and that loneliness, or if that loneliness has to be there at this point. What is the root of that loneliness, and how is that? There's an assumption that he is connected to that feeling of loneliness. If he was there, that you wouldn't be feeling it. He's not in the room right now, so you do. But just really investigate that connection, and see if he really plays any part in that whatsoever.
In reality,
In reality,
not in
yeah.
thought, because
No,
the
yeah.
feeling of loneliness goes away when you have a
Yeah,
child.
yeah, sure.
You haven't got time.
Yeah, of course. I'm sure a lot of things go away when you have a child.
Yeah.
But it'd be curious to see if really, if there's any connection there, and then look into that.
Yeah, sure. That's a good idea.
Amazing. Really, really good meeting you.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
really good meeting. And I love the pilea in the background, that plant. They're so difficult to have. They're so difficult to care for. So well done you for having that big a pilea.
Thank you.
Of course you noticed and knew what it was called.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Åsa.
Thank you very much.